And we are live with another edition of the 12th Horseshoe Podcast from a very cold Indiana. It's Jack Rizzo, and from a very cold New Jersey, I'm Elijah Weintraub. We have a great show for you today, Week 14 recap and Week 15 picks. First, Jack, how are we doing today?
Yeah, well, it's the Christmas season. It's getting cold here in Bloomington. I'm coming back to New Jersey next week, but for the time I'm in Bloomington, it's going to be really cold. We're going to get into the negatives this weekend. Welcome to the Midwest. It is
Wow.
fantastic. Christmas
Wow.
season's here, and yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah, okay, wow. Yes, Christmas season is here, but stay warm down there. I hope you have good heat down in your dorm room. Um, okay, fast forward. Let's go ahead and talk some football. Cowboys and Lions, the first game that was Thursday Night Football, and what we saw, a Cowboys loss and a Lions win, 44-30. They won big. Jack called it right. I got the pick wrong. What went right for this Lions team to get the victory?
Their offense finally clicked. Jared Goff and Jahmyr Gibbs both had outstanding games. The Cowboys were just kind of playing catch up all game long, and they couldn't overtake the Lions at any point in this game. Obviously, there are reasons to be concerned with Detroit because of all the injuries they have again. The Cowboys, though, even though they lost, they still have a chance to win the division. The Eagles, who we'll talk about later, have not been playing well at
No,
all.
they have not.
So the Cowboys could still make a run. They have a pretty easy schedule the final 4 weeks. But overall, this was a must-win for the Lions, and they got it done at home in prime time.
There's a couple more teams that got eliminated this week, which is a good thing. And you're absolutely right. A lot of these divisions are wide open, and Kansas City, for example, is one of them that won't be winning a division, which is a surprise to many people. The East is technically still wide open. The West is open. Pretty much every division is still open right now. It's pretty crazy to think about that. Usually by now we'd have teams already in, done, and they're going to win division. They're fine. But right now we're not saying that right now. It's a weird year, definitely in the NFL. Um, let's go now to Seattle and Atlanta, where we have a 37-9 victory for Seattle. I mean, come on here. I mean, Seattle keeps playing all these weak teams, and they're going to get the victories. I mean, another example last week. When are we going to play a good team and say to ourselves, yep, Seattle has playoff potential. They're going to go far. They're going to go, extra mile. They're going to go far. I can't say that right now with this Seattle team.
Well, I think you see the separation in the NFC because the Seahawks blew out the Falcons, won by what, 4 touchdowns?
Pretty much, yeah.
The Falcons just beat the leaders in the NFC South right now. So I think there's a big gap in terms of the NFC. I think in that top tier, you've got the Rams, the Seahawks, the Packers,
Yeah.
maybe the 49ers, and then
you can argue the Lions.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but after that, there's a pretty big drop. And I think that game was kind of indicative of it. Seattle's got another easy game next week, one that they should have absolutely no problems winning.
Problem with.
The real game is the Rams game after that on Thursday night. That's going to be a huge game that likely determines both the winner of this division and the number 1 seed in the NFC going into the playoffs. So it's hard to not look ahead to that. But for the time being, the Seahawks are playing great, and Jackson Smith-Njigba will probably win Offensive Player of the Year with the way he's playing.
No question.
Last week.
And I think if Daniel Jones was healthy for the Indianapolis Colts and everybody else was healthy in that Indianapolis team, I would say, yeah, that's a big game for Seattle next week, or this week, I should say.
It's not.
It's not now because all the injuries. William Hathaway says good morning, good afternoon. Hello, William. Let's go on now to the Titans and the Browns, 31-29 the final, and the Titans win. And Jack, you chose the Browns for Survivor.
I had no choice.
I know you had no choice, but okay. Either way, 7-7 for this week, both of us this week. 1-2 on LSU lock Survivor upset. What went right for this Titans win? I mean, it was a high scoring game, surprisingly.
Yeah, they somehow put up 31 points against a pretty good defense, all things considered. Just a good feel-good win, I guess, for the Titans. It kind of screws up your draft positioning, but at the same time, you have your quarterback of the future. So if you don't get the number 1 overall pick, it's not that big of a deal. Because I do think that Cam Ward has had a pretty good season, all things considered. Meanwhile, for the Browns, sure, you lost the game, but Shedeur Sanders had a pretty good game. Threw for over 400 yards or 300 yards, had 4 passing touchdowns, I believe. He looked really good out there for the Cleveland Browns. And ultimately, he might be the quarterback of the future as well. It was really a game that shaped draft positioning mostly, but we also saw the two future quarterbacks, these two teams duel it out on Sunday.
All right, we go now to the Bengals and the Buffalo Bills, where the Bengals lost 39-34. It was a weird, close game. Like I said, I'm going to say it again. Should have been in the 4:25 slot, but no, we want to move it earlier to 1 o'clock. It was a really good game for the 4 o'clock, I think, in my opinion, if it would have stayed there. Final score 39-34. We both got the upset pick wrong. what went right for the Bills team finally this time around.
Yeah, I mean, it's really frustrating for the Bengals. They were up by 10 points in the fourth quarter. It looked like they were going to get a massive win. I really thought they were going to come back and win the AFC North. Now I think that is completely out of the conversation now at this point. It's just really disappointing. And I think it was really telling what Joe Burrow said, I believe a day or two after the game, where he just did not sound happy at all during his speech. He was talking
No,
about
I wouldn't.
football not being fun anymore. I mean, I don't want to make conspiracies, but this sounds very indicative of what Andrew Luck had happened to him. And look what Andrew Luck did. He retired right before he turned 30 years old. And
Yeah.
I feel like that might be the direction that Joe Burrow's going. I mean, this guy's getting hurt every year. The Bengals have been irrelevant the last 3 years. And I feel like Joe Burrow might request a trade or just retire. So many injuries, no winning. Football's probably not fun for him anymore. And I can't really blame him for that. I think the Bengals this offseason just need to completely reset, fire the coaching staff, fire the front office, and get some pieces on that defense, get some pieces on that offensive line. And if they can do that, this team will contend for Super Bowls because they have one of the best quarterbacks in the league, one of the best receiving duos in the league, one of the best offenses in the league as a whole. You can fix that defense. Maybe you go back to the Super Bowl like you did 4 years ago.
I think you put up a great point there about Joe Burrow, and I think he's not going to retire. I just think he'll probably maybe go to a new culture. But at the same time, too, is he is injured pretty much every year. If he continues to get injured every year, it's going to be a problem, I think. But I think maybe he stays in Cincinnati next year, and if he stays healthy and stuff, and it's just not a winning culture, don't be surprised he gets a trade. Or maybe I'll be surprised. Maybe he'll get traded this year, and this will tell Joe Burrow's career finally whether he will be have a future in the NFL or that's it. He's just gonna be injured every year, and that's it for him.
Right. Yep. Exactly. I think that's a great point, and we'll have to see what happens. But I think at minimum, you have to fire the coaching staff after this season.
Absolutely. Let's go to the Commanders and the Vikings. 31 zip. The Vikings won, not the Commanders. The Vikings won. We both got this pick wrong. The Vikings go from being shut out to shutting out another team. What in the world is happening? And what a game that was for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, well, it was all about their defense in this one. They just completely shut down this Washington offense. Jaden Daniels got hurt again on Sunday. I don't even know how you bring him back at this season. He's had so many injuries. I think you just have to shut him down, let him get healthy for next season. They're not there. I believe have already been eliminated from the playoffs. There's no reason
Yeah.
to bring him back. And maybe just try to get a good draft pick. But it is amazing the fall off the Commanders have had from last season being one game away from the Super Bowl to this season being one of the worst teams in the league. Now, I did say before the season that I didn't think Washington was going to be as good as they were last year, but I also didn't think they were going to be 3-10 and out of the playoffs in the first week of December. I really didn't think that was going to happen. And it's really unfortunate for them. And also give some credit to JJ McCarthy. He's had a bit of a rough season, been getting a lot of crap from the media almost with his, I don't know if you've heard of Nine before. That's like his slogan. He's called
Yeah.
Nine,
Mhm.
and like there's the memes about it. But I thought he played really well against Washington, and hopefully that's a
Yeah.
turning point for him.
Well, and if you talk about the teams eliminated for the NFC, Atlanta, Arizona, New Orleans, Washington, and New York have been eliminated, and the Jets, the Browns, the Raiders, and the Titans on the AFC side of things. So the the usual suspects have been eliminated. No question asked there. Um, with that, let's go on to our next matchup: the Colts and the Jaguars. I was wrong 1,000% on this game. The
Really
Jaguars
wrong.
won
I told you he was gonna be
36-19.
wrong.
Okay, but we didn't think that Daniel Jones would tore his Achilles in that game. We didn't think that either.
They would have
But guess
lost.
what, though? I guarantee you the Colts come back better than ever next year, and they go out there and win a Super Bowl next year.
No, they won't.
Mark my words.
Daniel Jones won't even be back in Indy next year, and the Colts would have lost by the exact same score if Daniel Jones had played.
Daniel Jones will be back in Indy next year. Why would he not be back in Indy?
Well, if he's gonna be back, he won't be back till November probably at the earliest.
That's true too.
I just don't I don't think that's gonna happen. I think the Colts are gonna clean house, fire everybody, and just completely reset it as an organization because that's what they need to do. They are not a good team. That 7-1 star was a complete anomaly. They just played a bunch of okay teams and have made them look. They looked good doing it, but again, they're like there's quite a few examples here, like how the Dolphins would start every season strong and then fall off. This is not a good team. I think everyone needs to be fired. I mean, you seriously think that bringing 44-year-old Phillip Rivers back 5 years after retirement is going to help you contend for the playoffs? That's a move of desperation. I really just don't see a world where the Colts make the playoffs. I don't even see a world where they win a game the final 4 weeks of the season. Just a complete embarrassment in Indianapolis. The fans deserve better.
Yeah, I mean the whole Phil Rivers thing. I mean that is pretty crazy, but maybe he'll be like the Joe Flacco. For the Indianapolis Colts. You never know. Maybe you'll see maybe a lucky sight there. Anyways, we go to the Steelers and the Ravens, where I got the upset technically correct, even though I didn't have that as my upset. The Steelers won 27-22. The Ravens lost in that one, and a big win for Pittsburgh.
Absolutely. Typical classic AFC North showdown. This is probably the best rivalry in the NFL right now.
100%.
These teams are always grueling it out when they play each other. Ultimately, it was the Steelers' offensive production in the first half that allowed them to win this game. Really good job by Aaron Rodgers today after having a rough week the week before with having quite a few injuries. Obviously, has several broken bones in his left wrist. And the Steelers' defense also did a good job limiting Lamar Jackson. This is a huge win for the Steelers. These two teams will play again in Week 16, and I think that game will decide who wins the division. But right now, the Steelers have the upper hand, and as we know, the Steelers are going to finish 9-8 or 10-7 this season. Mike Tomlin just will never have losing seasons.
You got it right. Dolphins and the Jets. Big win for the Dolphins, 34-10. We both got this pick right. The Jets are not a good football team, and that shows how they got a big win, Miami. Still crazy to think about that. There's technically Miami Dolphins still in playoff contention. They're on the bubble. Maybe another loss they'll be out, but they're still technically alive for a playoff spot. It's crazy to think about that.
Don't count them out. I'm telling you, do not count the Minnesota Vikings, or I'm sorry, do
Miami.
not count the Miami Dolphins out, the other M team. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries.
But again, they're 6-7. They have won. I think it's 4 of their last 5 they won. Tua's played better. Their defense has played better. I ultimately think that they're going to keep I thought Mike McDaniel was for sure going to get fired. I think they just keep him now and hire a new GM.
Oh, no question.
And I think obviously you're probably going to have to win your final 4 games if you want to actually win the division, but it's certainly possible. I think you have a winnable game against Pittsburgh next week. Then you play Cincinnati at home. That's an easy win. I can't remember who their final 2 games are against. I think they play New England once, which is a tough one. And they play one other team that final 4-week stretch.
Let me double check with you.
It might be Houston. No, it's not
It
Houston.
is Cincinnati, Tampa Bay.
That's it. Okay.
And Pittsburgh and New England.
I think New England's the only tough game, or the only one that I think they're actually.
Maybe the Bengals.
Maybe the Bengals, but I don't
remember they're still alive technically for contention.
I just don't see it. I think this is the loss where everything just completely breaks down for the Bengals. But the Dolphins are going to have to win their final 4 if they want to get in. But it's pretty impressive that they're here, all things considered, considering the way they started the season.
You got it right. And we'll see what happens for Miami the rest of the way. And we'll keep an eye out the AFC, because if we think about it, the Colts are 8-5. The Ravens, the Chiefs, the Dolphins, the Bengals, they're all the Bengals are 4-9. The Dolphins, Chiefs, Ravens, they stand at 6-7. They're
6-7.
Oh yeah, that's 6. They're in contention. Technically for a playoff spot. It's crazy to think about. Cincinnati, they'll be gone after this week, and I think that's no question.
Yeah.
It's a tough race. We'll have to see what happens next. But let's go now to Tampa Bay and New Orleans, where the New Orleans Saints won 24-20. Not just that, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers also lost last night on Thursday Night Football. We'll talk about that other game in a minute. But the downfall of Tampa begins.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. The Bucs are another team. They're like the Colts, where they had such a good start to the season. They started 6-2. They've lost 5 of their last 6 games. They're at 7-7 now. They don't control their own destiny to win the NFC South anymore. Actually, they do. They're just not in first place right now. But this is just incredibly disappointing. What happened to this defense? The offense is very inconsistent. And everyone's back healthy now, so there's really no excuses that they should be losing these games, especially to a Falcons team who's 4-9. They have like 1 win since the middle of October. It's absolutely ridiculous that they have been losing these games, and especially to a 2-10 Saints team. Hey, give credit to the Saints. I think Tyler Shuck has looked really good so far. I think he might be the quarterback of the future, even though he is 26-year-old rookie, which is a bit crazy. But overall, a really impressive road win for the New Orleans Saints. And for Tampa Bay, the wheels are just falling off. And if they end up missing the playoffs, I think Todd Bowles is another coach who probably will get fired.
No question about it. And we go now to the Buccaneers. Nope, wrong one. Broncos and the Raiders, another B team. We got confused with these B's and the M's. Anyways, Broncos, Raiders, 24-17. Broncos win there. The Raiders are eliminated. They're just not a good football team this year, and a big win for the Broncos once again.
Yeah, the Broncos just keep finding ways. They're 11-2 now on the season. They have been outstanding in every aspect this season. This is a good win, too. Their defense played well. The offense were able to sustain drives. I know the score is 24-17, but it was really 24-7. The Raiders had garbage time drives that allowed them to score points. But really, this was just a dominating win for the Broncos. And I think that you could argue that they're the best team in the AFC right now. I don't really think that's a question. You can't say
No
Kansas
question.
City. You can't say Kansas City. You can't say Jacksonville or any of those other teams. I think the Broncos are the most complete team in this conference.
I couldn't agree more with you on that one. Rams Cardinals. Rams win big. 45-10 the final. What a big one there for the Rams. I mean, they play the Cardinals, so it makes sense, but not much to say, but the Rams got a big one.
Yeah, well, Matthew Stafford's the MVP. I don't think there's any question about that. He would have to have a really bad final 4 weeks for him to not win the MVP. And it's amazing that he's doing this now at nearly 40 years old. The Rams offense finally got it going on Sunday. The defense had a bounce back week after a rough one against Carolina. Rams Seahawks is going to be a fun one to watch for the division.
Yeah.
And that could also be an NFC championship game for all we know. I'm really excited to see the way that plays out as the season concludes.
Hopefully they make it a good primetime game and not just a 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
It is a primetime game. It's a Thursday night game. Rams
Thursday night. Well, okay, that would be going.
Yeah.
All right. Bears Packers. 28-21. Packers win that one. Really good game. Not in some degree.
It actually was a good game.
Yeah.
Really good game. I watched it.
I did not watch that one. But what did you think of the game though?
I thought it was just a classic, really. Just a classic old school game between two NFC North teams in the freezing cold temperatures of Green Bay. Green Bay is colder than Bloomington, and Bloomington's a pretty cold place. So that's saying something. It was about 10 degrees in Green Bay. Actually, might have been a little bit less than that as the game concluded. Jordan Love made the big plays when he needed to. So did the Packers defense. I was having some doubts about the Packers after they had that loss to the Panthers early in the season. They had some other really bad losses, but that Panthers loss doesn't even look that bad now because the Panthers are genuinely a good team. And the Packers seem to have everything going for them right now. They get everyone back healthy. And I think there's no question that the Packers are a Super Bowl contender this season.
No question there. And a interesting Sunday night football game. It was the Texans. It was the Chiefs. Sunday Night Football NBC. And guess what happened? How about those Chiefs lost 20-10? I guess Taylor Swift focused on the Disney Plus series that just came out today. I don't know. But no more football because the Chiefs are not going to win the division. They may not even make the playoffs.
They have a good chance to miss it, yeah.
It's crazy to think about it. A big win for Texans, and that keeps their hopes alive.
Absolutely. Their division hopes are very much alive right now. I think they'll definitely be in the playoffs, and they will be a very dangerous team in the playoffs because of how good that defense is. That defense has been just balling every single week. Only 10 points allowed on the road against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and they've done that against a bunch of teams this year. They only allowed 14 points to the Rams. The Seahawks had a pretty impressive performance against them on Monday night. Going back and looking at it, that's a lot of points to score against that defense. And overall, the Texans are going to be one of the most dangerous teams when playoff time comes around. I think they're capable of beating absolutely anybody. CJ Stroud and the offense are figuring it out too. From 0-3 to possibly winning the division and making a deep playoff run, what a turnaround this has been for the Houston Texans.
Huge turnaround. And did we watch the Monstropolis version on Monday Night Football, or do we watch the regular version? Because I was kind of going back and forth because this guy, the Sully, he really was out of his mind on Monday night. In the real version, though, the Eagles lost to the Chargers in overtime, 22-19. What a great game. What a finish for this Chargers team. And what is going on with Philadelphia right now?
Their offense just can't sustain anything right now. Jalen Hurts threw 4 interceptions on Monday night. Also threw an interception and lost a fumble on the same play. That's crazy to think about. The Eagles are just struggling right now, specifically on offense. Again, their defense is doing everything they can to win games. I mean, they got pressure on Justin Herbert all night. It's honestly a miracle that the Chargers found a way to win this game. But I think the Eagles need a systematic change offensively if they want to sustain a possibility of competing for the NFC title again, like they did last year, the Super Bowl title, I should mention. And with the way it is right now, I don't see them matching up with any of the other top teams in the NFC. Heck, they might not even win their division. They still have 4 more games left. They got to really grind it out if they want to take home another NFC East division title. I mean, remember, we haven't had a repeat winner in the division for about 20 years. So it's going to take the Eagles a lot to be able to grind it out. They still have some tough games in there. They have Buffalo on the road. They still have 2 games against Washington. And we saw Washington against the Broncos. They can still win games. They're not good this year. They can still win. They can still compete, though, and still win games. The Eagles really need to figure things out, though, quickly if they want to win the division and have a legit shot for the Super Bowl.
You got it. And we go now to the Falcons and the Buccaneers. I got the upset right. Falcons win 29-28. I picked that one correctly. Jack had the Bucks in that one. I had a feeling the Falcons were just going to surprise us. So, remember, Falcons are a wishy-washy team. They win one, they lose one. And then I just felt like, all right, they lost a couple. So tonight's be the night that they win. Sure enough, I was right. And the Falcons did win a pretty good one there.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a really grinded out comeback victory for the Falcons. Remember, the Falcons had 3rd and 28. The Falcons aren't supposed to be good when the numbers 28 and 3 are in a certain sequence. So they finally overcame 28-3.
That's right. Super Bowl 51.
Yeah, yep. 28-3. Yep. We finally
never
put
those numbers together.
Yeah. Well, now I guess the Falcons can, because they put 28 and 3 together, 3rd and 28, and they still somehow won the game. What's going on with the Bucs defense? That defense giving up 15 points in the fourth quarter to Kirk Cousins is absolutely asinine. Almost 400 passing yards for Kirk Cousins, who again was not a starter coming into the season. It was Michael Penix for the Falcons, and Kyle Pitts had 3 touchdowns. He had 1 touchdown all season going into that game, and he had 3 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So just a really disappointing loss for the Bucs, and their playoff hopes are in real danger right now, especially with a tough schedule. Their final 3 games now, since they were the first team to play in Week 15. There's only 3 games left for them.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting stretch. And with that, we go to Week 15, where we have no teams on bye, and Jack takes it from here.
Okay, we are starting off with the Browns and the Bears. Battle of the B teams. This game is on Fox at 1 p.m. Weather will certainly play a factor here. Looks like we're going to have some snow, some freezing temperatures. I'm going to take the Bears 27-15 to beat the Browns.
I'm going with the Bears here, 22-15.
We have the Cardinals facing the Texans, 1 p.m. on Fox in Houston. The Texans are favored by 9.5 points. Really easy pick here for me. I'm taking the Texans 20-12.
Texans 26-21, survivor pick of the week. I think they got a big one.
We have the Commanders facing the Giants, 1 p.m. on Fox at MetLife Stadium. The Giants are actually the favorites here by 2.5, and I like that. I think the Giants win this game. Washington just has so many injuries. I think Jackson Dart puts together a really good performance at MetLife. Giants win 30-20.
It's going to be a really weird, high-scoring game, in my opinion. I think they're going to win 32-28, Giants.
Eagles against the Raiders at Lincoln Financial, 1 p.m. on Fox. Philly's favored by 11.5. I think the Eagles win this game, but I think it's close. I think 24-20. I think Kenny Pickett, who's going to start for the Raiders this week, may surprise some people. Remember, this guy was on the Eagles last year. He obviously knows the Eagles. He knows their system. I think that may allow the Raiders to keep this closer than we think. But ultimately, with the Eagles being at home, I still think they win this game.
Eagles 34-12. They got a big one.
And
Lock of the week. Yep.
Yes. Okay.
I just don't trust Pete Carroll and the Raiders anymore. I can't.
We have another AFC North Division matchup. The Ravens facing the Bengals for the second time in 3 weeks. This game is 1 p.m. on CBS. The Ravens are the 2.5-point favorites here. Even though I just talked a lot of trash about the Bengals, I am going to take them to win this game 27-24 because they're at home, and I think the Ravens are spiraling a bit, and I think Joe Burrow has another big game against the Ravens secondary.
You know what? I agree with you. I'm going to go with the Bengals here, 26-23 to get a big victory.
Okay, we've got the Jets facing the Jaguars, 1 p.m. on CBS. The Jags are favored by 13.5. I don't really need to spend any time on this one. The Jags win 31-17. They are going to be a playoff team. They're going to be really good in the playoffs. Jaguars, easy for me.
They're playing weak teams. That's how they're winning. Jaguars, 28-19.
Also, the Jets are starting Brady Cook this week, the Mizzou alum, making his first NFL start, just so you know. We have the Chargers facing the Chiefs, 1 p.m. on CBS. This is an interesting one. This is a must-win for Kansas City if they want to keep their playoffs alive. I mean, every game from here on out, it's a must-win for them, but especially this week against a division opponent. If the Chargers win, that'll be the sweep, and they will have the tiebreaker over Kansas City. The Chargers would move up to 10 wins, and then if they win that game, then the Chiefs can't catch the Chargers either. So
they'll be eliminated.
They want to be eliminated because they could still catch Buffalo or Houston or something like that. But I ultimately think that the Chiefs, though, I think they're going to find a way at home in a must-win game, 20-17. I also don't know if the Chargers are as good as the record shows.
Yeah, I agree with that one. I think the Chiefs are going to win this one, 26-24. Chiefs, I think, are just going to get that win because they want to get the final wins in, and if they want to get back in the playoffs. We're not going to be used to seeing Patrick Mahomes without the playoffs. It's just like when Tom Brady's on the playoffs. Same thing. Yeah.
We've got the Bills facing the Patriots, 1 p.m. on CBS, a massive game for the AFC East.
Big one.
Oh, this game is not for first place because the Patriots are 2 games ahead of the Bills as we come into this game. And if the Patriots win this game, I believe they would lock up the division. Because they'd be
Yes.
12-5. Yeah, because Buffalo wouldn't be able to catch them. So I believe the Patriots win the division.
Must win.
Win this week. I think they're going to do it. I really do. I think at home, I think the Patriots are going to win 20-21. I still think Buffalo will be a playoff team, absolutely, as a wild card. I think, though, this is the Patriots year, and I think they're going to end up locking the division down. I also don't know if I trust Buffalo in big games. They haven't really played well in big games this year.
Just want to say we have a lot of great games this weekend. Let me tell you.
Yeah, this is a really
good football week to watch football this week. Bills 29-20. I think the Bills survive this one and get a 1-point victory.
All right, interesting. Packers taking on the Broncos, 4:25 on CBS. This is another great game. You have this is absolutely a Super Bowl preview potential. The Broncos are the Packers are actually favored by 2.5, excuse me. With that being said, this game is in Denver. I think the Broncos are going to find a way to pull it out, 23-21. The Broncos just have a knack for winning these close games, especially at home. The place they have not lost all season long. And while I think the Packers are going to keep it close and they could absolutely win, I think home field advantage is going to play a real factor here. Give me the Broncos. If this game was in Lambeau, I would take the Packers. But since it's at Mile High, I like the Broncos.
It's a weird game to pick. I'm going to go with the Packers in this one. I don't know. I feel like they're going to get the victory here, 32-27.
All right, Colts Seahawks, 4:25 on CBS. Seattle favored by 13.5. No Daniel Jones, no Travarius Ward, no Sauce Gardner.
Pretty much the whole team's out.
Basically, the whole team's out. So for my lock of the week, absolutely no question about it. Give me Seattle 48-3 to beat the Colts.
Hey, at least you gave your guys 3 points. I got to give you credit.
You know what? And you know what? They'll get those 3 points on their opening drive. It'll be 3-0 Colts, and then the Seattle will score 48 straight points. Just to make things a bit fun. 48-3.
28-15 to get 15 points. The Colts.
That is not going to. It's going to be double that point margin at least. You should have said like 56-15. That would have made way more sense.
Oh man.
Okay. Let's move on to 4:25 on Fox. We have a Lions facing the Rams. Another really, really good game. The Rams are favored by 5.5. Matthew Stafford is still looking for that first win against Jared Goff since the trade happened. I do think that the Rams will win this game. I think 30-27 will be the score in this one. It's a home game, although I think the Lions fans are going to show out, but I still think, though, that the Rams find a way to win. I think they are the best team in the NFC as we speak.
I think the Lions get this one, 26-23. I don't know, just got that weird feeling.
All right. Panthers Saints, 4:25 on Fox. Carolina only favored by 2.5. Yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty close game. Don't think the Saints are a bad team at all, but I think the Panthers win 20-13 and take over first place in the NFC South.
Panthers win 23-20. Can't believe I'm saying that.
Titans 49ers, 4:25 on Fox. The 49ers are favored by 12.5 here. Easy pick for me. 49ers 31-13 survivor pick for week 15.
Niners 24-12.
Okay, we have the Vikings and the Cowboys on Sunday night. Interesting.
Such a great game.
The Cowboys are still alive in the NFC East. The Vikings are hanging on to their playoff hopes. Both of these teams need a win on Sunday, really, in order to keep their playoff hopes alive. I think the Cowboys, though, at home will win 30-18. They are one of the best home teams in the league, so I think the Cowboys, because of that, will win this game.
Well, I just want to say we had such a great 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock window, and then we go to our primetime games for the weekends, Sunday, Monday. It's like, ooh. William Yaks, who is the upset of the week? There's too many of them. You got to look through the list and all our picks to see what are our thoughts about the upsets. Vikings, Cowboys. You know what? You consider this an upset. Give me the Minnesota Vikings, 23-22. You know why? I don't like the spread, 5.5.
Okay, fair enough.
Usually whenever the 5.5 spread happens, the other team wins. Give me Minnesota.
We are closing out the Week 15 slate with Dolphins Steelers on Monday night, 8:15 on ESPN. The Dolphins with a win would get back to 500. The Steelers with a win would help their AFC North division hopes. But if the Steelers lose and the Ravens win, they'll be right back tied for the division lead with another game coming the week after. I actually think the Dolphins win this game. This is going to be my upset pick of the week, 23-17. I just think the Steelers are just going to let down their fans. They kind of are a wishy-washy team where they'll win one and they'll lose one. I think they're going to lose this one to the Dolphins. I really think the Dolphins are starting to have a really good second half run.
Ooh, I'm going to go with this one. Pittsburgh, 28-24. I don't know. I just see Pittsburgh getting the job done, but I like the upset, though. Really do.
All right, that's going to close out our Week 15 picks, Week 14 recap, and Week 15 picks here on the 12th Horseshoe Podcast. Join Eli and Jim Monahan on Sports with Mano and Mano tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
Bingo.
I got that correctly. Perfect. Next week, we will be back for our Week 15 recap, our Week 16 picks. We don't have the day and time figured out next week yet, but we will. Trust me. And we will let you know. And we hope you all have a great weekend. Stay warm. Go IU. That's
Go
all
Seahawks, go
I've got.
Devils.
And that's all I've got.